It all comes down to this AFC and NFC Championship weekend. We got some really barn burner type games on the horizon. Games I'm really looking forward to seeing. We got the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, this has been a very interesting NFL season as a whole. I've been really intrigued in what I've seen all year long, from the ups and downs with certain teams to certain teams ascending that have been in the slums for the past 20-30 years, like Detroit and other teams in general. It's really good seeing Detroit as a whole really have this, not fairy tale, but kind of, or not even a Cinderella, but more so just an uptick in performance over the past decade and a half that they haven't been able to have. And having a guy like Dan Campbell, who's really turned this whole franchise and this whole organization and their whole program as a whole around, I can't do anything but have full props for them, along with Jared Goff too, for being able to pick up the pieces of his career in a great way and not fade into obscurity since getting traded by the Rams, and even going on to beat them after what they did to him years ago. In terms of trading him for Matthew Stafford, he was able to get revenge on him a couple weeks ago. So it's very interesting. Detroit, I thought they played well in their previous divisional round. I picked them to win. The game to me got a little closer than it should have been, but Baker Mayfield he kind of reverted back to who he was as a player. But he's still a good player. I still think he should get a contract, but I think offensively they play well as of usual. They're gonna have to play even better, I think, in terms of offense and defense if they're going to be able to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Even though there's a lot of talk recently about Purdy and everybody's, giving him a lot of slack, and obviously the same stigma that's been pushed around him all year long about him being system oriented, and if he didn't have all these weapons around him, he wouldn't be doing what he was doing. I'm not sitting here and lie and act like I think Brock Purdy is a world beater, that he's a top 5 quarterback. I think he's more so close to top 15, top 10, back in the top 10. He's done everything that, for the most part, that people have asked him to do. He's come out there and played well. He's come out there and, even though some of the games he struggled in, the next game that after his struggles, he usually plays well. So he's done a great job for the most part taking care of the football. I get he looked shaky against the Packers, but I think as long as he plays within the system and doesn't take too many chances, takes chances here or there, but doesn't overextend himself in what he's doing, I think he should play fine in this game. Even though Detroit's got a really young, talented secondary with those guys. Also, obviously, a young, hungry defensive line headed by Aiden Hutchinson, who's playing out of his mind, who's really trying to show that he's one of the top 5 best edge rushers in the league. He's trying to make that point hang true, but we'll see what happens. When I really break this game down, it's just I really think the linebacker core of the San Francisco 49ers are going to play with Greenlaw and Warner, who, like I said in previous videos, I think is the best linebacker core in football. I think they're going to be the X factor in this game, because they're going to have to deal with Laporta. They're going to have to deal with the newly signed Zach Ertz, who just got signed with them, if I'm not mistaken. Even though I don't think he'll play a big presence in the game, but their linebacker core being able to stop that two-headed monster Detroit Lions offense when it comes to Montgomery and Gibbs. I just think the linebacker core versus that running back core is going to be the real big matchup and the X factor matchup of the NFC Championship game. I see Jared Goff playing well, but I see him running into some trouble with that defensive line. I think he's always been pretty good when you don't get pressure on him, and he's able to just sit back in the pocket and text his girlfriend or whatever. Whenever he has an infinite amount of time to do what he wants to do, he's always plays pretty well and is very accurate. I think in this game he's going to get pressured, and if he wants to get to the Super Bowl again for the second time in his career, he's going to have to make throws underneath pressure. He's going to have to deal with Young and Bosa and those guys, because they're going to get after him a lot in this game, I feel like. The Niners, this is a pressurized situation for the Niners. They're obviously the number 1 seed, and everybody's been touting them as a team that should be able to win the Super Bowl or be one of the teams in the Super Bowl. Everywhere you look, they got positional players. They got players that are really, really good, dogs everywhere, whether it's on the defense or offensive side, on the O-line, the running back position, wide receivers, everywhere. So they're playing with all the pressure on them. Detroit's kind of playing with house money, as they haven't been here in like over 20 years. So it's like they're really playing with house money with how far they've been able to get. Obviously, they would love to win a Super Bowl and get there, but they're playing with house money. The pressure is on San Francisco. You're at home, NFC Championship game, all the chips in y'all favor. We don't know how much longer this team is going to be able to stay together when you consider the salary cap and how much money you got to pay these guys that are coming up in contract. So the time to win for them is now. They got to get it done now. So with all that being said, when it comes to this game, I think it's going to come down to, like I said, maybe a few different plays at the end of the game that may play a big factor in terms of, I feel like Goff is going to be in a position where he has to go down and get points. And in doing so, I think he may put the ball in harm's way, and it may end up costing Detroit the game. Like I said, I'm no football expert. Everybody knows this. I could be dead on wrong when it comes to this game, but for me, I'm gonna stick to home, and I'm gonna say the San Francisco 49ers get it done. I think they get it done in a close one. I think this game is a lot closer than the odds makers are making it out to be. I'm gonna say this game is gonna be 21-17 49ers. I think they get it done. I think they hold on and get back to Super Bowl 58. Now, moving on to the AFC side of the coin, we got a game that's really, really being touted as, possibly the arrival game of Lamar Jackson in a sense. Now, this isn't to say he hasn't arrived already. He's already proven to be a great player, great quarterback. I had a video, a couple weeks ago where I said, where I put it in terms of put up or shut up, in terms of because of the situation that Lamar Jackson had around him, in terms of obviously a good head coach, a great stout, probably the best defense in the league, along with skill position players at the running back position, wide receiver position, and even at the tight end position. You know what I mean? You got a lot of pieces. Obviously, it all revolves around Lamar, but you're playing with house money. You can't fall back on any other excuses now. That was my main point when I was making that contention about Lamar Jackson in that video. It wasn't because I hated him or didn't like him. It's because he's playing with house money. He's got everything he needs. So the bottom line is, when it comes to this game, he's going up against a juggernaut in terms of a franchise, a team that's proven to be able to win, against a quarterback who's the winningest quarterback in the league right now, against a very winning coach and culture. When it comes to Andy Reid and those guys, Andy's been doing this for decades at a high level. So I'm so in tune and ready for this game, probably more so than even the Niners-Lions game, to be honest. I think this game is going to be a back and forth showdown type game. This is, when I think about pressurized situations in terms of legacy, this is a legacy game for Lamar Jackson. He has to win this game. This is a must win. He has the chance to do something that no other active quarterback outside of Joe Burrow has been able to do, and that's send Patrick Mahomes home before the Super Bowl game. Send him home before and beat him when it comes to the AFC Championship game. Send him home. He's only lost to Joe Burrow and Tom Brady, and obviously Tom Brady's retired, and Joe Burrow's obviously not even in the playoffs. He has an opportunity to do something that most people don't think he should be able to do. In terms of how this game, not from an X's and O's standpoint, but just from both sides of the coin in terms of their defense and offenses, obviously the Ravens got the best defense in the league, and the Chiefs, to me, have a top 5 defense in their own right. Just two talented defenses. I think both offenses, more so the Ravens, has proven to be really more elite. But when you look at the Chiefs as a whole, their team is seemingly being able to flip a switch in the playoffs. I get it. They played a injury-riddled Dolphins defense that was playing in the cold, and obviously didn't have all their people with them in terms of their game, so it makes sense. You could also say Buffalo had some injuries, key injuries on the defensive side of the ball that they had to deal with. So people were like, maybe, I would say, downplaying the Chiefs' offensive success in the playoffs so far, even though Mahomes has played pretty flawless in both games. They don't seem to have problems with the drops. Even MVS guys who have been key to in terms of drops this season and really cost their team and stepped up in the Buffalo Bills game and really showed out and played well. I think this game, when it comes to the Chiefs offense versus Ravens defense, is going to come down to man coverage, because the Ravens love playing a lot of man coverage. They do it a lot. Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, they're going to have to win against man coverage if they have a chance to win this game. Mahomes is probably going to have to buy time in the pocket. He's going to have to buy more time than usual, move around, because that defensive line is going to get after him. Those guys are some dogs over there. They get after the quarterback like nobody else in the league. And one key factor, X factor, especially for the Chiefs O-line, that's going to play a factor, is Joe Thuney not being there. You're talking about the best left guard in football, all-pro, he's been to me playing at an all-pro level for the past 3, 4, 5 years. He's that good. That whole interior, when it comes to Creed Humphrey and Joe Thuney and his name is Trey Smith. Like these guys, they play very, very well. And even at the tackles, Taylor and Smith, they haven't played well, but the interior side of that football offensive line has been amazing. So the key X factor to me is not having that guy, and getting Allegretti or whoever they're gonna have replacing him is really gonna be the key, because they gotta have their best performance offensively on the opposite side of the ball, but more so up front when it comes to the line of scrimmage. They're gonna have to play their best game all year long. They have a chance to win. I see Mahomes going out there and he's gonna do what he can. Buy time, move around, do what only Patrick Mahomes can do, and he's going to have to buy time to let these guys win against man coverage. Cause I don't see the Ravens playing a ton of zone. They'll play a little bit of it, but I don't think they're going to play a bunch. It's going to be 4-man pressure, get after the quarterbacks on the early downs, dropping the man coverage, maybe even spy him at some point if he starts moving around a lot. When it comes to the Ravens offense versus the Chiefs defense, this is going to be a game that a guy like Odell is going to have to step up and play even better than what he has. He has had limited action in the playoffs so far, and really hasn't been needed that much in the Texans game. He really wasn't needed that much. But not only are the Ravens going to have to run the ball effectively, whether it's with Lamar or the way, kind of like what Buffalo did last week, but they're going to have to stick to it the entire game. They can't just abandon it after like a quarter or a drive or one half. You got to stick to it for 3.5, 4 quarters. Make the Chiefs respect their run game and hit them with play action passing like the Ravens have been doing all year. But I think Odell, even Zay Flowers, I think guys like him are going to have to step up. I don't know. I'm guessing Mark Andrews is going to play, So it should be interesting to see, can he play 100% and be 100%. Even so, is he practicing at a high level to where they can make the game plan more so schemed around him and Zay Flowers? But we'll see what happens. I think against them, the Chiefs, they love playing man coverage a lot too. They love rushing the quarterback. Steve Spagnuolo is proven to be a great defensive coordinator. He's going to have these guys ready to go scheme-wise. I think this game might be even better, at least for the Chiefs defense, going up against Lamar than it is against Josh Allen. And I know people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm no NFL expert. I'm just going off of how I've seen Steve Spagnuolo's defenses play against Lamar over the past 3-4 years. Is they do a decent job in terms of what they do. Not so much recently as of the 2021 game, but they play well. So I see them playing a better style of game and coming up with a game plan against him to stifle him and making Lamar actually have to beat them from the pocket. It seems like neither one of these teams, when it comes to the Texans that Lamar played, this postseason so far, Nobody's really making that. They didn't do a good job of making him win from inside the pocket. He won some. He was doing a good job, but there's also plays where I feel like they did a good job in coverage, but they didn't do a good job getting after him. And with Chris Jones and George Karlaftis and those guys, I think they're going to do a better job getting after Lamar. This should be very interesting. Like I said before, Patrick Mahomes is playing with house money. He's already a two-time champion, two-time league MVP. Obviously he wants to keep building his resume to GOAT status, apparently, or quote unquote bullshit GOAT status, or whatever you want to call it, even though I don't like that stat or like that statement that people put on certain ascending players. But like I said, he's playing with house money. He's already done it and been at the top level. And just all the problems that they've had offensively all year in terms of the media that they've been talking about. I think them beating the Ravens, who's the number one style defense this week, I think that'd be something insane. You know what I mean? I don't know what else I'd be able to say when it comes to that team. If they're able to pull this off, because I don't think many people even expected them to get this far with the problems they've had. Obviously, we believe in Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, but everything, all the other pieces around them, that's been a more of the flagrant type of issue. But all the pressure to me is on Lamar. You got two Super Bowl. You can't have two regular season MVPs sitting here and everybody tout you as a great quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks, and you ain't even got a Super Bowl appearance on your resume. This is your first AFC Championship appearance. We'll see how you play. All the pressure is going to be very, very high, so we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. I'm looking forward to this game. Probably more, like I said, more so than the other game. I can't wait for it. I hope Lamar Jackson continues to prove me wrong. He's able to win this game. I think when it comes to my prediction of this game, I'm going to really, really go out on a limb here. I usually don't bet against Mahomes. I never do, because I know how great of a player he is and how great their team is. But this time, I think the Ravens, they do enough. I think they'll escape with a win. I think they win 30-27. I think this comes down to like a last second type field goal thing where Ravens get into field goal range and are able to kick the game winning field goal and win. So that's what I got. I got the Lions. No, excuse me. I got the 49ers 21-17, and I got the Ravens 30-27. Those are my AFC Championship picks. Thank you guys all for watching. And as always, until we meet again.